Alright guys, today we are going to be talking about price manipulation in the Pokemon TCG and how that can affect your Pokemon investments in 2022 and also your business in 2022. So guys, if you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and as always, hit that like button. We can get 75 likes on this video. It's greatly appreciated, and of course, it's free for you. So please hit that like button before you leave and move us right along. But as a reminder, we are also doing our monthly box break, which is typically on the last Saturday of the month. It has been moved ahead 1 week, so it'll be the second last Saturday of the month, and we'll be opening up a whole smorgasbord of different packs that we have available. They're in the link below. Definitely, if you want to check that out and join the fun on our live that Saturday and have your packs opened here, definitely make sure you hit that button. Go ahead and purchase your packs and get in on it. Other than that, we're just going to get right into the deal, which is, of course, how are there price manipulation in Pokemon TCG? And how are we seeing this? Well, we're going to go ahead and take a couple looks of some different examples of it. And the first one I have is Twice Baked Jake did a video back in 2021, and where he talked about how full art trainers are going to be great investments and how all these different full art trainers will be good, why they're a good idea, what they're good for, and why he thinks they're going to be great. And what did we see literally a week after that video, or within a week of that video's release? We saw those cards, even the ones he specifically said, go up 10 times. Now, why? Because people saw a reliable investing source on YouTube, and they went and purchased all of these cards at like $15 to $20, jacked the price up to $120, and bought all. I mean, they literally would buy all of them out of TCG Player and put them back on there. And when you get all these people putting them back on at that higher price point, other places kind of follow, and they all kind of manipulate the pricing upwards so that when someone pulls this card and goes to sell it, they sell it at the higher price, because that's naturally what we all do. We always sell at the highest price on there, and then you kind of work your way down the ladder as it doesn't sell. If you're trying to sell it, you start moving the pricing down in order to get that sale if you're trying to rush it, and if not, you might leave it where you think it's a good buy and let the market kind of do its thing and hopefully run into it on pricing. So there's different ways that you can look at tactics for that. When it comes to the manipulation, what happened with these cards? They went up extremely high, way overpriced, and people were buying these as investments because a reliable source told them it was. They didn't specify the pricing in the video, which was one bad thing, and they also didn't sit there and tell people to watch out for these things, like jumping on the sword to try and save people from going and buying a huge quantities and telling people to be patient with it, which is what I try to do. I try and tell you to be patient on sales. And that's why, because sometimes people take your information and run with it and actually can manipulate the market that way. So when you sit there and look at it, this happened. And what happened to all them trainers? They've dropped. And I mean, they've dropped up to 80% on some of these. They're definitely falling all the way down, and they haven't really recovered. And they're back down to almost where they were at the point in which they were sold, or when that video came out. So what does that mean for the market? Well, that's a huge disadvantage in the market. And that's where we talk about hype and FOMO. Hype and FOMO can lead to these manipulations. Another one that we possibly are looking at is the Machamp alternate art. Due to Astral Radiance's low print rate and hard pull rates, we might be seeing that card getting price manipulated. And I truly feel like it was. I feel that a lot of people, if you were looking, were buying 4 to 6 of these, sometimes 7 of them, right off the bat. And what they were doing is they were buying all the quantities that became available on the first week of sales on TCG Player, and then they took those cards, and when they got them in hand, quick twisted that market up to about $140. Now, why would they do that? Well, it's a perfect opportunity to take a market that's really low, really hard to get, and make it look like it's falsely going up really high in price. Now, I personally purchased this card at about $63. I didn't open much Astral Radiance. I had no intention of opening a lot of Astral Radiance, and I knew the chances of me pulling that card were slim to none. And understanding that, I bought it at about $60. I think I paid $63 in some sense with shipping. And with that being said, that was a great price for me, but I'm using it as a collector. It wasn't an investment strategy, and even as an investment strategy, I might have held on that card a little bit longer to see if it fell down with all the rest of the alternate arts under that $60 mark. But that wasn't my intention with it. But if my intention was a collector, now imagine if you were hearing people say that this Machamp card is going to be a great investment, and I've heard it on several channels. Because of the low pull rate, because of the low print rate of Astral Radiance, there's some great investment opportunity in that card. If someone heard that and someone didn't explain what's going on with it right now, they might have gone and purchased 3, 4, 5 of these at $140, thinking that they were getting a great futuristic investment, which granted, it may be a fantastic investment 10, 15, 20 years down the road at that price. It might take a long period of time for these cards to actually get up to that value and what they're actually spending. So what's happening is that price manipulation is causing people to way overspend on these cards, and it's even causing collectors to overspend on this because they're seeing sales or they're seeing these cards all listed at that price. They want them for their collection and they're purchasing them from that price. Now, do I think that price, the $140 for that Machamp, is a really reasonable price? Absolutely not. And even the market's kind of showing that because we're watching that pricing slowly trickle back down. We're down to about 110. There's sales at about 105 to 107 today at the recording of this video. So it's slowly trickling back down under $100, which is to be expected. The other factor you got to think of with Astral Radiance is there's going to be more reprints, guys. This is the first print run of this set. If you think that there's not going to be any reprints of this set within the next 2 years of its rotation, then you really need to understand the Pokemon TCG better at that point. We will see more prints of this, and the next print might be a higher pull rate. We might see better pull rates out of the next print, depending on when it comes. And I would think that we'd probably be seeing a pretty good smattering of a lot of these sets come here between August, September, October, and November, because with the holiday season coming, Pokemon's history is that they really pack it in and come out with new boxes, reprint all these sets, and get new products out there available at that time frame. So that would be my guess, is that we're going to see something right around that October-November range for a reprint of Astral Radiance. So once again, understand the market, understand what might be happening. The other way that we've seen it is we've actually seen it in the reverse direction. And Danny Phantom pointed this out back around December, January, where he was showing Celebrations UPC. Now, the interesting thing about that UPC is at the point, it was at $240 or $250 for that box. And what he was showing is that there was actually price manipulation the other way. So there can be manipulation both ways in the market. So someone was trying to drive the price down by making the TCG pricing average go down, and by doing so, create people to sell it for less because they think that they're overpriced if they're trying to sell it and make money on it. So what they were doing was selling the UPCs at $188, and they sold several of them, and guessing that they were doing multiple accounts. There's probably about 25 accounts, all at the same price, and all with 1 or 2 sales on them. So what they were doing was they were buying it and then either A, refunding the money because you can't see that in TCG Player, or B, they were going through and actually just selling it to themselves and just taking out their averages in order to drive that price down to a more affordable range where they wanted to purchase it at. So there are tactics in where it goes both ways. You can reverse it and you can push it forward. Now, the number one thing that are going to be asked, how do you prevent yourself from falling into these traps? How do you prevent yourself from accidentally purchasing these things in a hype and FOMO, and understanding the difference between when it's actually just naturally going there or when it's just the actual manipulation happening? Well, the number one way that you can do it is that Astral Radiance is a perfect example of how you could potentially protect yourself. If you see a low print run, low pull rate set, there is a great opportunity there for someone to price manipulate that. They can purchase all the cards. Someone with a little bit of money, you look at that, and if someone has $10,000 around, honestly, they could have probably bought every Machamp that's come up for sale in the last month off of TCG Player that was under $140. They just could keep eating them up, right? And by doing so, they drive that price up to where they want to list it. So if they buy them all at $60 and do it through several accounts and suck all of that away, and then they actually go ahead and put it back on there for $140, now they control the market and what that price is going to be, even though it's a false ceiling. It's really not the ceiling. It's really not where it should be, but that's what they're creating. And there are Discord groups that do that all over the place. There are a lot of Discord groups out there that have discussions with a lot of members on how to price manipulate. They all go together and buy these things and then list them for a consistent price. And when I see pricing go from like between $65 and $55 right there when it was first released, and all of a sudden they all get bought out within like 2 days, and then they come back immediately at $140, and all these guys come in at almost the same price, that tells me that was possibly a price manipulation. That looks like it. It's hard to prove, but it's definitely a possibility when you see that kind of movement or that kind of adjustment that quickly on a card or a product. So the number one way is, guys, is just realize the Pokemon TCG cycle, that there's no rush on a lot of these products, and that even Astral Radiance, if you wait until November or even the beginning of next year, we're going to see another cycle of these. And when that happens, that Machamp price will come down. It will become more affordable. It will become better priced so that you can go ahead and pick up that Machamp for your collection at a cheaper price, or as an investment piece to try and put them away for a while and let that market kind of simmer and grow. You can definitely have them opportunities too. So like I said, that's one way that you can really tell. The other way that you can really tell and really see it is, like, if you go back to like trainers, if you see a huge YouTube influencer such as Twice Baked Jake or some of these bigger influencers, you can name a whole bunch of them through there. If they put out a product and all of a sudden you see that product start to move, you know that that's going to be price manipulation. People are jumping on that product and really trying to get that product to either A, sell it quick as more people are looking for it. Because imagine being the first person that saw the video. So you follow this YouTube creator really tightly, and they put out a video on Monday, and you go out there right away Monday and purchase a bunch of it at the lower price that it is there. By the time some people see that video the following weekend, these people are now coming out and looking at it and not realizing that that price had shot up that high, and they're purchasing at that higher rate. So that's one of the items that you got to really watch when you're going through these things, is if watch YouTube channels, watch the bigger channels especially, on what they're pushing and what they're talking about, because there's a tendency that those products will show up as a price manipulation in the near future. And just even like that, it's taken almost a year for that price to really recover back to where it should be. And that could be a case. I mean, it's just been a slow trickle, but if you were investing, looking at the price that Twice Baked Jake made the mistake, in my opinion, not putting the prices out there for what they were at that point in time. So people didn't have a reference. If you had a reference that the price was $15 for this, for a trainer card, full art trainer, and you went to TCG Player a week after that video and it's at $140, you're going to go, something happened. Something changed from that video to here. Maybe I should do a little bit more research into this and really be cautious. So if you're going to be talking about investment videos, you should probably be putting prices or current prices, which I try to do. I try and give you current prices on these things, just so you see where things are going. So if someone gets a wind of it, it may accelerate faster than it should, and it gives you a little bit of a buffer to understand, hey, something's changed incredibly quick. The other thing is too, guys, is that the one thing that you can really do to protect yourself is just be patient. Patience in this market is key, especially now that we're going back to a little bit more of a normal, stabilized market. Patience on products is key because people are constantly influxing in and out of the market. And if people are coming in and people are going out, there's product continually moving. And when you see a lot of movement on product pricing, that's a good thing. That means it's a good, healthy, reciprocating cycle of people purchasing and selling, purchasing and selling. The price goes up and down, up and down. And if you watch the live on Friday with Mason talked about how that's really good to see, because you're actually seeing it's not a stagnant price where it's not really selling. It's just sitting there and nobody's buying and nobody's interested in it. Seeing prices up and down is typically a good sign of a product that people have interest in, and that interest is going to drive that price in the direction it wants to go. So guys, hopefully I brought you some good information on how to prepare for price manipulation, what to look for, what we've seen in the past so you can go look at it yourself, and also how to protect yourself from it and understand what you're looking at when you're seeing these prices do what they do. So guys, if I did bring you some good information, of course, as always, hit that subscribe, hit that notify, and last but not least, hit that like. We can get 75 likes on this video. Greatly appreciated. It helps us out a ton. Once again, reminder, box break coming up here in a couple weeks. And if this is some good information, check out these two videos up over here. I'll have them up for you for more information afterwards. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.